Hey all, I'm back with another video. I promised I would do another budget deck, and I am going to cover Inzektors. I'll go ahead and switch the camera to table view. I actually got in my mount, as you can see, so I think that will help with the deck profile and combo. But let's go ahead and switch into the table view. Okay, so I'll go over the main deck first, and then we'll cover the extra deck. So like most decks this format, you're going to play 3 Forbidden Droplet. Not too much discussion needs to be made about this, but if you want to switch it for, Dark Rulers or Forbidden Chalice to make it a little bit more budget, you definitely can. This is what I prefer to play, but if you want to play Forbidden Chalice to make this a true budget deck, feel free. Next is going to be your DPE package. So you have your 2 Fusion Destiny. I have a Plasma for now, but like I said, my other deck profile, I am waiting for my Dasher to come in. So let's just say that this is a Dasher, but honestly, it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to be normal or special summoning either one of these. They're going to be going to the graveyard. And then Destiny Hero Celestial. That's going to wrap it up for the DPE package. We are not playing Scythe in this deck. Next is going to be your all-star for Inzektors, which is going to be your 3 Dragonfly. I did go with 1 collector rare that I pulled if you saw my earlier video, and then 2 super rares that I also pulled. The collector rare looks amazing, by the way, and it's really cheap. If you do want to play this deck, I think you can play a couple of these and it's not going to get too expensive. And then next is going to be 3 Inzektor Hornet, also a very powerful card. And same 1 collector rare, 2 rares. I just wanted to pick up 1 of each collector rare for this deck because they look really good. This basically is going to be, if you're going second, it's going to pop cards in your opponent's field and help you combo. And then third, we have your playset of Inzektor Centipede, also very crucial to your combo plays. And then fourth, we've got Inzektor Ladybug. This is one of the best cards that you can hard draw, especially going first. You really need this card. And when we go over the combo, I'll show you why this card is so important. And then now for our one-ofs, we have 1 Inzektor Gigamantis and 1 Giga Weevil. Unfortunately, they didn't reprint this card in Grand Creators, so you will have to pay $10 to $15, but this is like the most expensive Inzektor card that you'll have to pick up. And it does come in ultimate rare too if you want to go higher rarity. Next is the newest card for Inzektors, which is going to be the Zektrike. This card's insane and really helps this deck combo. And then lastly for Inzektors, we have 1 Zektrike. You honestly don't need to play this card. It's okay. It's really more important late game or for firing over a monster that has a high attack, but it's really not the most important card. Next for extenders, we have 2 World Legacy Succession. We are running quite a bit of links in this deck, and there's not really natural extenders, so this card's really good for getting your Dragonfly back to the field. And then for other cards we're playing, or other spells, we're playing 1 MST. This is actually the original dual terminal. It's really good. So we have 1 MST, 1 Foolish Burial. This is basically going to be dumping your Ladybug if you don't have it in your hand. And then 1 Monster Reborn. It's kind of the same rationalization as playing World Legacy Succession. Those are just generic cards, spell cards you can play in this deck. And then next is Cocoon of Ultra Evolution. This isn't the best card, but what it does is basically you contribute a monster that has an equipped spell, and special summon an insect, so it can kind of help you get access to your dragonfly if you didn't draw it. So an important card to play. Next, we have one Bee Trooper Descent. It's just an extender. It gives you a free level 3 insect token. This is something you don't have to play, but it's super cheap. And can help you combo. Next is 2 Infernoble Arms Durandal. It seems like an odd choice for this deck, but basically what it does is like what you would ideally want to do is equip it to your dragonfly. It destroys itself, which will then trigger your dragonfly, and then it searches out an Infernoble monster, which you're going to add Infernoble Knight Oliver, which can basically, we'll go ahead and go into that. So here's your Infernoble Knight Oliver. It says you can only use each of the following effects of Infernoble Knight Oliver once per turn. You can send 1 fire warrior monster or 1 equipped spell from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand as a level 1 monster. If this card is in your graveyard, the last effect isn't important, but basically what you can do is special summon it as a level 1. All the monsters in your deck, for the most part, level 3s. So you basically can go into your Herald of Arclight, which is an additional disruption. But the main part of this is the Durandal, which sets off your Dragonfly if you don't have any other equips in hand. Next, we have 2 Ghost Ogre, just a very good hand trap in this format. I would really highly suggest that you play 2 or 3 of these. And then also I'm playing 2 Ghost Mourners. You can also play Effect Veiler, but you can also use this card on your turn. So if they special summon a Scythe, you can actually use Ghost Mourner to negate it. It also has burn damage, which can be good in game 3, but I don't really care about that as much. And then lastly, 2 cards you really don't have to play, and I don't know that I will play, but I'm just kind of experimenting with, is Bee Trooper Sting Lancer and Bee Trooper Fly and Sting. So basically Sting Lancer, it's kind of more not for going first, but for going second or just later in the game. Of course, it's a beat stick at 2400, but the main effect is you can target 1 insect monster in your graveyard and 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. If you do, place those targeted monsters on the bottom of the decks. One of the problems you have with Inzektors is running out of monsters to search from the deck. They all end up in the graveyard. So the fact that you can put an insect monster back in your deck to search is really good. And then besides that, you also can add 1 Bee Trooper Spell Trap from your deck to your hand. So you can add either Bee Trooper Fly and Sting or the Bee Trooper Descent, depending on what you want to do. But the Bee Trooper Fly and Sting is an Omni Negate. It's kind of like Orcus Crescendo. Very good card. Even if you draw Bee Trooper Fly and Sting, you can also summon Bee Trooper extra deck monsters. So if you have this in your hand, it would be wise to leave one of those monsters on the field and then use this as an Omni Negate disruption on your opponent's turn. That's going to round it off for the main deck. For the extra deck, you're going to want to play 1 Appaloosa. Just always a very good card, disruption for monster effects. There's not really much more to say about it. I'm sure that everybody knows kind of what it does. And then for your DPE package, you play your Predator Plant, Verte Anaconda, and Phoenix Enforcer. And then for your Inzektor cards, you're going to play 1 Exabeetle, 1 Exastag, and honestly, you want to play 2 of these Inzektor Picafelinas. They're really good for recycling monsters from your graveyard, and it's really good to extend your plays. Currently, I only have 1. I did order 2 super rares. Luckily I had this laying around, but the super rares never came in, and it's been 20 days. So I messaged the seller, and hopefully they can get that to me. But I would end up cutting one of these Inzektor XCs monsters for this because Pikafelina is just so good. And then for the rest of your insects, you have 1 Bee Trooper Invincible Atlas. which is just, I mean, really good for pushing for game because it becomes like a 5,000 attack monster. Also, Bee Trooper Armored Horn. This is just going to be part of your first combo line. It gives you an additional normal summon. And then we have Seraphim Papillon. This you'll see in our combo, but this is mainly used to get rid of the Bee Trooper Armored Horn because you can't special summon or normal summon any monsters except for insects. So you really want to get this off the field when you get a chance. But also this card's not bad. It can special summon insect monsters from your graveyard on your opponent's turn or your turn, just not the first turn that you summon it. And then last, this may get cut as well. It's a decent card, but it's not great. So I haven't decided. This might also be a card that I would possibly cut to play an additional Inzektor Link, Pikaflina. And then for Nightmares, we have Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Unicorn. Not much needs to be said about those, just generic good Link cards. And then we're going to have one Herald of the Arclight, like we talked about earlier. One Cicada King, which I know I've mentioned on my channel, but it's a monster negate, and it's just a really good card. And then last is going to be number 60 Dugares. This card I hardly ever try to summon, but if you are pushing for game and don't want to give your opponent another turn, it can be a very good card to do that. Let's see. I think I haven't settled exactly on this is going to be my final lineup. I might end up playing Access Code Talker actually and cutting the Shinobi Insect, but this is for budget wise, this is not a bad way to go. All right, that's going to round it out for the extra deck. Okay. Now what I'll do is we can go over the combo. And what I'll do is I'll go over the best combo, and you have multiple ways to get there with your Foolish Burial and stuff. But it's basically going to be a Ladybug and a Dragonfly. And what I'll do is we'll just yeah, that's really all you need. But what we'll do is we'll put a couple of extra cards in my hand just for discards in case we need them. Really having another insect monster is really, really good. I'm trying to put monsters that don't really matter, or cards that don't really matter that much. Okay. So we'll put those, and we'll put them as face downs because we're not going to play them. They don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I just want to have 5 cards for an example. But basically what you're going to do is first you're going to normal summon your Dragonfly. You're going to activate Dragonfly's effect to equip monster from your hand or graveyard. And the reason why Ladybug is so important to have, because it's the only monster that you can equip that can send itself from the field to the graveyard without any conditions other than increasing a monster's level on your field. So like with Hornet, you have to destroy a card in the field. So you don't want to send Hornet going first and not have a card to pop. What you can do, like if you only open a Dragonfly and a Hornet and you're desperate, is you can set cards on your field, like spell a trap and pop those. But it's really, really not ideal. So you really want to have Ladybug or have a way to get to Ladybug. I'm going to grab some dice actually. I didn't think about this, but I need to keep track of the monster's levels because that is an important part. Basically, when you send Inzektor Ladybug, you have to target one face-up monster you control, increase that target's level by 1 or 2. So I'm going to send Ladybug, target my Dragonfly, increase its level by 1. And since you sent a equip spell left Inzektor Dragonfly, you can activate its effect to special summon Inzektor monster from the deck. So what you're gonna want to do is grab your Inzektor Centipede. You can activate Inzektor Centipede's effect to equip an Inzektor monster from your hand to grave. And then you're gonna activate Ladybug again. And what I typically like to do is target the same one, just in case, because I'm not really worried about level manipulation as much, but I do want to go into the level 3 Cicada King. So, I mean, unless I'm like really planning it out in my head, like you can definitely easily manipulate the wrong monsters going through your combo and then not be able, and then lock yourself out going into rank 3. So we're gonna activate Centipede effect because an equipped spell is sent to the graveyard and search a card from our deck to our hand. And what you're going to want to get is Zektrike Cow. And this is why you'll see why this card is so insane for this deck. So you're going to activate this card and you have to tribute either a face-up insect monster or one from your hand. Generally, you're going to have an insect monster in your hand, and honestly, it doesn't really matter. But for the sake of this combo, we're going to pretend that one of these is an insect monster, because most likely it will be with the amount of insect monsters that we're playing. So we'll send that to the graveyard. If you do have to end up, every once in a while, you will have to tribute one from your field, and ultimately you can still combo, but it's not really going to affect you that hard. So we'll just go ahead and go through with it. Basically, what Zektrike does is you can choose one Inzektor monster from your deck and either special summon it or equip it to an Inzektor monster you control. So one thing you can do, like if you, at this point, if you weren't able to get into, or weren't able to draw into your Ladybug, you can equip Ladybug to your Dragonfly that you already have on field. But assuming that we already have Dragonfly or had a way to get to Dragonfly like Foolish Burial, we're just going to special summon another Dragonfly. I will say with this deck, it's one of the harder decks to play because you really have to think ahead. So if you're not one of the players that loves that kind of a deck, this probably wouldn't be the deck for you, because you're gonna have to think 10 steps ahead. Like when you're searching, you also have to think about, okay, well, next turn I'm gonna need a Hornet to clear the opponent's board. So just keep that in mind when you're considering playing this deck. I would urge you to definitely try it online first. But I figured that maybe showing you some of these combos would kind of help demonstrate that. Since we special summon Dragonfly, we haven't used its effect to equip yet, so we're going to use its effect again. Also to note, like the effects are once per turn per card, but it's not once per turn per name. So like if you special summon or normal summon another Inzektor Dragonfly, you can use its effect again. So we're going to activate Ladybug. Increase its level by 3 or by another 1, and then activate Dragonfly. You're going to get another Centipede. Centipede, equip Ladybug, then Ladybug effect. Activate Centipede to search a Dragonfly to your hand. It's super important that you get Dragonfly to your hand off that search. From here, I would get rid of this one. Off. And then from here, you're going to go into your Pika Felina. I hope the zones aren't too annoying. Like I'm going to try to show you. I should have brought my mat in, but I don't have it with me currently. It's in my car from the last tournament I did, which was over a month and a half to 2 months ago. From here, when Inzektor Pika Felina is special summoned, you can discard one card from your hand and then equip one insect monster, or not an insect, Inzektor monster from your deck to a monster on the field, or insect monster on the field as an equip spell. So we're going to discard one random card out of our hand, and we're going to equip from the deck. And then one thing to note is if you're going second and you're doing this, like, and say you have a hornet in your graveyard, like going into Giga Weevil or Giga Mantis is really good. But for the sake of this, we're just going to go into another ladybug because we don't have anything. Or also, you could also, if you're going second, you could just go into Hornet if you don't have your Hornet, and then activate Hornet's effect to, and then pop a card in the field and still get your Dragonfly effect off. From here, we're going to activate Ladybug. That is going to search out any other copy of Centipede. And because we activated that effect, I'm going to increase this by 1. From here, you have a secondary effect of Pikaflena, but we really want to save that because, as you can see, we've dug through every Centipede and every Dragonfly in the deck. So go ahead and activate Centipede and equip your Ladybug. But what you're going to do from here is actually link off your Dragonfly and your Centipede and go into Bee Trooper Armored Horn. Now that does allow you to normal summon, but it doesn't have to happen on special summon. So from this point, what we're going to go ahead and do is activate Pikaflena, and that's basically shuffle 3. I think it's insect or Inzektor. Let's see. 3 insect monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them to the deck, and then draw 1 card, which is really, really good. So what I usually do is go for 2 Centipedes and 1 Dragonfly, because I still have 1 Dragonfly in hand at this point. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle those into the deck. And it doesn't really matter what we draw because I'm not going to use that card. But say it's Plasma, or it doesn't matter. Hopefully you wouldn't draw Plasma because that's like the worst card you could draw. But the real point is that you get to draw a card, which is always really good. From this point, you're going to go ahead and activate your Armored Horn. You're going to special summon your Dragonfly. Or not special summon, normal summon. You just get to get an additional normal summon off. And then you're going to go ahead, equip your Ladybug, unequip. We're going to increase Dragonfly. And then you get to special summon another Centipede from your deck. Centipede effect, Ladybug. I'm going to go ahead and activate both these effects. So do the first one, I'm going to actually search out a Hornet to hand because this is just a really good card to have for your follow-up plays. So we're going to get that in hand. And then we're going to manipulate this up another level. And then we're going to activate the second Centipede. And we're going to search our Dragonfly, and that way you can, for the next turn, you already have combo, and you have that and you have the Hornet in your hand too to destroy anything on the field that you need to get rid of. So super strong being able to do that towards the end of your combo. At this point, you need to get rid of this Armored Horn, or it's going to prevent you from doing anything. So there, you need to have an insect that you can go into, being Papillon. And then you have a couple of options that you can go with here. What you can do is go your Cicada King, because these are level 3, which is what I would usually recommend doing. And then here, what you can do is you can either go into Verte Anaconda, or you could have gone instead of Cicada King. Actually, instead of Cicada King, here's what we'll do. This is going to be the stronger play. Cicada King is good, but it's not like that good. So what we're going to do is go a 2 material Apollosa. And then you're going to link these two off for your Verte. And then you're going to go ahead and activate Verte effect. Make sure I don't have the, okay, so I do have the 1 plasma in hand. So we're going to dump the rest of the materials, Fusion Destiny, Celestial. And then of course you get your Phoenix Enforcer. Usually on top of this, like if you have other good extenders in your hand, you can end on the Cicada King or the Papillon. And if you're unable to get your other Dragonfly in hand, sometimes it is smart to end on your Papillon and then let's say a Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. Depending on who you're playing, how strong their board's going to be. Because then you are able to special summon a Dragonfly out of your deck and get your plays going. And whereas this doesn't look super strong, like you're sitting on only 2 monster negates and 1 quick play destruction, where it gets strong is, and where a lot of decks kind of fail is follow-up play. So if you think about, okay, well, I can negate 2 monsters on his turn, and I can destroy 1 card on his field, and this card's always going to come back, of course. I mean, every deck is playing this card, and that's pretty much, you have to, deal with that. But what you also get is you get a, you have 3 cards in hand, and when you start your turn, of course, you're going to have your Dragonfly. And what you do is you're going to equip your Hornet from your hand that you searched, and then send it to the graveyard, and then you get to pop cards. And then, like I did the first turn, you're going to then search out your Centipede. You can equip the Hornet again, and then destroy another card on this field. It's just really good for clearing your opponent's field, getting rid of spells and traps. And because it's an equip spell that you're sending, from your field to the graveyard, they're not going to be able to say imperm this. I mean, unless it's in the same column. But they're not going to be able to imperm this or droplets this. It's really hard to deal with that effect. That's something that's been strong for many years. And then, of course, you can start building up your board again, and then go back into another Pikaflina, shuffle back all of the cards that you need from your graveyard, like your Dragonflies and Centipedes, and then you can just keep on going, which is really, really, really good. And then if you are pushing for game, the other thing that you have is your Bee Trooper Atlas, which you can only special insect monsters when it's on field, but it can make itself 5,000 attack. So pretty much really hard to deal with. Just a super strong card. But yeah, I think that this deck is, I mean, you're not looking at a tier 1 deck here, you're looking at a tier 3 deck, or a rogue deck. Like, you can definitely surprise somebody and do really well with this deck. But honestly, in my opinion, this is like probably one of the most fun decks. Just has a really unique, interesting way of playing. It's kind of similar to Infernoble, but I don't, in its own way, it's got its own special way of playing. That's, I think, is just a lot of fun. But yeah, I think that from what I've seen testing online, it can be very competitive. There are blowout cards, of course, and I mean, you're going to lose some games for sure. It's not the deck that you're going to play if you want to win every game that you play, but to me, that's not really fun either. I think you want to aim for a 60 to 85% win rate. That to me is what's fun. Obviously, if you're going to play competitively and you're spending a bunch of money to go do that, obviously you're going to want a deck that has closer to the 85-90% win rate. But if you want a deck that's fun, you can make for dirt cheap for the most part. I mean, the only expensive cards are really just these two cards and droplets if you want to play that, but you really don't need to play droplets for a more casual rogue deck like this. And I mean, you wouldn't have to play Destroyer, Phoenix, and Foresight. It just really helps the deck. And the other thing is too, with you can also destroy equip spells on your side of the field, and then their side of the field where you can, double up on effects if you want to. Just overall really strong for this deck, really. But let me know if you like the deck profile and what you think about the deck. And let me know if it's something that you would probably enjoy playing, or if something that you would consider trying online or building in person. But like I said, if you go to Grand Creators, like most of the Inzektor cards are reprinted as rares, and you can get it for 15 cents each. So if you're wanting a deck that's fun or casual to play with your friends, like definitely a good deck to play. Or you could flex on people and play all collector's rares. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. I'm sure we'll do a market watch in the next day or two this weekend. But I will catch y'all later.